So, if the election is fake, then what's really going on?
The end of America.
The Boondocks was a satirical comedy that aired on Adult Swim from 2005 to 2014. Although the series features a lot of humor for all audiences, at its core, The Boondocks is a black comedy. Some have even taken to calling it the Black Simpsons for its similar ability to seemingly predict the future. I've not really bought into either show having anything more than loose coincidences, but there is one big exception for me. Season 3, Episode 1, It's a Black President, Huey Freeman. The episode details the final days of the 2008 election, focusing on the neighborhood's reaction to the first black president of the United States. The episode kicks off with a National Geographic-style narrator setting the scene.
Towards the end of the 2008 campaign, the Republican Party, terrified at their own sinking poll numbers, attempted to link Barack Obama to radical leftist figures.
Now, for the unfamiliar, this is not a narrative device the show frequently uses, but I think is actually a really clever device in order to highlight all the different members of this community. The episode really doesn't have a plot so much as the episode itself is a mockumentary featuring our favorite characters. More on why I think the writers did this later. Huey, the main character, is in the news once again, this time for being Facebook friends with Barack Obama. Barack then goes some ways to distance himself from Huey by giving an address.
I don't know who this Huey Freeman is, but he doesn't stand for what I stand for. And I denounce, I repudiate, and condemn him. Basically, fuck him.
Now, while absolutely hilarious, something very similar to this actually happened in real life. The Boondocks briefly mentions how Obama ran into similar controversy with a pastor he had connections with, and yeah, this guy is 100% real. And so Obama, afraid of how his connections with the pastor might affect his campaign, gave one of his most famous speeches to date to address the issue.
I have already condemned, in unequivocal terms, the statements of Reverend Wright that have caused such controversy and in some cases pain.
We will come back to this speech later. Intrigued by Huey Freeman, Werner Herzog begins documenting everyone in Woodcrest's reactions to the Obama campaign, starting with Huey himself, of course. Herzog is more than a little surprised to hear what Huey, a self-proclaimed revolutionary left-wing radical, has to say about the first black president of the United States. Meanwhile, seeking other answers, Herzog goes on to interview Robert Freeman, Huey's grandfather, who participated in the civil rights movement. Although viewing the election as a historical moment for America, Robert can't help but use the moment to live vicariously. He believes Obama is ripe to win the election because of him, his sacrifices, and his troubles.
Excuse me, I'd like to propose a toast. Now, I'd just like to say that today is a very special day for me. I hope you all enjoying the cheese, wine, and freedom I have struggled so hard to provide tonight.
Now, I want to be careful here. What I believe the writers are satirizing is not the civil rights movement as a whole, of course not. But one of the things I love so much about the Boondocks that black television does not often do is critique our own culture. And that's exactly what this is. Robert views Obama as some kind of fulfillment and justification for the ways he's been wronged in the past. He takes credit for the civil rights movement despite not being a large part of it, and he allows all of that to completely cloud his judgment and make him believe Obama is going to do what he wants him to do. In other words, Robert is delusional and set up for disappointment.
And because of my pain and suffering, the black struggle is officially over. No longer can they keep us down. No longer can we be silent.
This is it! Shut up! Shut up!
Next up is Riley Freeman, Huey's loud, ghetto younger brother.
Describe Riley Freeman in one word.
I say real nigga.
Real nigga is 2 words.
I know it's 2 words, nigga. Real niggas don't follow instructions.
And thus, his hopes for Obama are that he'll be able to get away with petty crimes, disobeying authority figures, now that there's a black man in the White House. And while obviously that's not true, it is Riley's reason for supporting Obama that I actually think was the most common during the 2008 and 2012 election. People, specifically black people, voted for Obama because they believed that he had their back. It was the strategy of the civil rights movement to funnel resources towards putting black men on the ballot. The belief was simple that once a black man was in office, they would use their newfound influence to benefit the black population, and so they kept doing it over and over and over again. First black mayor, first black Supreme Court judge, and eventually first black president. Only, as we all know, nothing really happened. So why is that? Well, typically, money equals influence. Have enough money, you can kind of do whatever you want, or at least get away with it for much longer than someone without it. Having a black mayor, a black senator, or yes, even a black president doesn't really matter if black people are still systemically disenfranchised. Wealth allows you to obtain political power. This effect can be seen in how Irish and Italian immigrants who, once their communities escaped poverty, began assimilating into whitehood. So many black people believed Obama would help them for no other reason than, well,
He black.
moving on from the Freeman family, we also are shown the reactions of a popular rapper from the area named Thugnificent, who reacts to Obama like a lot of people actually did when they first heard about him.
His name is Barack. For real?
Barack Obama, yes.
Get the fuck out of here, Barack.
Yes, Barack.
Where's he from? Africa?
This scene is also a reference to a DMX interview if you didn't know. After Obama becomes more and more mainstream, Thugnificent begins to change his tune, attempting to alter his image and look more conscientious and socio-politically aware. Here, the writers are critiquing the tendency for celebrities to jump on political causes for clout, despite clearly being uninformed and oftentimes utterly fraudulent. And damn did that age well for this past election. Thugnificent even participates in an absolutely hilarious collab with will.i.am to promote and endorse Obama. And I was stunned to learn that this isn't just based on a real song, but is damn near one-to-one. And Dick riding Obama is the gift that keeps on giving, because I lost it when I found out that will.i.am made another one for Kamala last year.
Don't let him take away your rights. We could be better than we ever been. We're about to have a woman president.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Regardless, election night comes and, like in our world, Obama beats McCain and becomes the first and only black president of the United States. A little while later, the Freeman family is waiting at a car wash when Huey is approached by someone selling Obama merch, and they have this little exchange.
Man, can you believe it? In a few days, we're gonna have a black president. Aren't you excited, little man?
Eh.
What's "and" supposed to mean?
Just means eh.
Okay, this is what I think is the most important moment in the entire episode, and probably one of the best social commentaries I've seen in American television. I've watched a few people react to this episode as research for this video, and quite a few, having been sobered up by present-day politics, have generally agreed that Obama wasn't all that great as a president, or at least he failed to be the champion of the black people that so many people thought he would be. That said, a critique that they still aim towards the episode is that they really wish we got to hear Huey explain what exactly he doesn't like about Obama. And well, yeah, that is a very unusually subtle approach for the Boondocks to take, isn't it? I mean, this is how the Boondocks normally handle social commentary.
Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan was the devil, and the government is lying about 9/11.
Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men.
Not exactly discreet, but instead of taking the same approach for this episode, the writers went with something completely different, a mockumentary. Something that allows us to unbiasedly observe the characters and make our own conclusions based upon their actions and beliefs. Don't get me wrong, the narrative obviously takes a side, but it's a far cry from spelling it out to us like the show normally does. So why? Well, I think it comes back to Obama's unity speech that I mentioned earlier. It's so easy to forget the importance of this speech in Obama's first campaign, and it's hard to imagine something like a disagreement with a pastor seriously damaging the odds of someone being president in a world where you can seek hail to the entire nation without consequence. But this was a big deal back then. The whole nation was watching what Obama would say when directly confronted on race, a topic he had previously been capable of skirting around. African Americans have debated since before emancipation whether or not the goal is to assimilate into American culture or reject it as an evil and corrupt empire. And as you might imagine, there are a billion shades of gray between those two extremes. Obama's pastor was very much on the latter side of that argument.
Put them in the lowest paying jobs, put them outside the equal protection of the law, kept them out of their racist bastions of higher education, and locked them into positions of hopelessness and helplessness. is the government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
So what did Obama have to answer such fiery rhetoric? How did he resolve an argument that's been going on since the very first Freeman?
I'm going to do nothing.
Obviously, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, the speech, despite being well written, despite clearly containing some true sentimentality, is designed to appease. It is a speech that confronts centuries of abuse with tame promises and hopeful rebuttals. And it was an incredible success. He was praised for it, and in many ways, it was what many white and black people on all sides of the aisle at the time wanted. It was inspiring and convinced many people that they had no reason to be angry black folks anymore, and by connection, no reason to fear angry black folks anymore. This is in complete contrast to how Huey operates. He is a radical, he is a revolutionary just like his namesake. He doesn't care how tolerable his rhetoric is or about the optics of his message. That's also why I don't believe Huey straight up says he hates Obama at any point. He's simply indifferent. He's able to acknowledge the simple good of having a first black president, but he also knows he won't really do anything. Even more so, the reason he ponders leaving the country is most likely because he acknowledges how easily the population can be tricked into adopting a false idol. Again, sounds familiar. Huey is publicly rebuked by his family, who then go off to the Capitol to celebrate Obama's inauguration. In response to the slightest of disturbances, the cops begin tasing people, to which Riley calls out for Obama to save them. He does not swoop down like Homelander, though that would be awesome, and instead the episode ends with everyone acknowledging that Obama is more or less just the status quo. Herzog asks Huey if he has any final remarks, teasing the audience, who is hopeful Huey will finally explain his stance. But like I just explained, if you're familiar with American politics, if you get the references and you know Huey as a character, the episode pretty much already explained it to you. And so instead, Huey just leaves it with this.
Yeah, I'm retired.
Thank you for watching. God bless and have a wonderful night.